My name is Bruce Gilden and I'm a photographer. I was born in Brooklyn, but you could probably hear me talk and know that right away. I started photographing in 1968. I've been a member of Magnum Photos for a decade, and last year I was awarded a Guggenheim Fellowship. I do close-up portraits of people on the street with a flash. To me, beauty is everywhere, especially on the street where characters seem to live. Now I'm going to look at some of the pictures you submitted and tell you what I think, because some guys from Vice thought it would be a good idea. This is Take It or Leave It with Bruce Gilden. Now, wait a second. This one, you're not going to slide by me. And this one?
These two are meant to look like the photos that you would find in a frame that you buy.
Yeah, they are. But I think they're shit, so what? That's what you throw out, you mean. You don't say, I wish it was in my family. Okay, you ready? As I look at these three pictures, which are done by the same photographer, I've been told that these are paper cutouts. And he forms them in a way and then photographs them. I think these two are very commercial and interesting from a commercial standpoint. The guy does it well, it's a good idea, and I prefer the one on the right to the one on the left because the Chanel bottle to me really kills it. It makes it an ad. I don't find the depth in either of these pictures. This picture I can talk more about because what I like about it is it reminds me of an Outerbridge picture. And it also reminds me of Planet of the Apes. I don't know why, but I love how the watch is almost like, because you may not realize that it's a paper cutout. And the watch is like bent in a weird way, like an object that you would find after the bomb in Hiroshima. If you ever see any of the objects, they're all elongated and almost flat. And this has that look. And it's interesting for me, this picture. I love this sweater because it looks like something from the 1930s or 40s. I love the hand, which if you look, the hand is not a typical model's hand. It looks a little fat, and it almost looks like an ape. And it looks like this metamorphosis of ape to human or human to ape. So this picture has something that these don't. And maybe it's the human element. And even though it smacks of a commercial photograph that somebody did in the studio, I rate this picture. Whereas these two fall flat on their face.
We found you a really vicey picture.
Well, listen, I don't know what to say. Better take a deep breath, okay? 1 second. Let me have a little hot water. Okay. Obviously, I don't like this picture. I like her. You know, as someone who's been married 3 times and generally likes women, she's quite attractive. Her lips are nice. But to me, to drape lights around her and make her a living sculpture, which doesn't add anything to the picture, and she's got this stupid grin on her face, I think people should be illuminated from within, not from without, not outside. And here all the light is coming from outside. So, and if you're an attractive woman, you don't have to have all of this to take away your attraction. I mean, to me, thumbs down. So anyway, the only clue they told me about these pictures is that it's a series on loneliness. A picture should speak to you without you knowing anything about why it was done. And that's why I think these pictures totally fail. It's someone who has an idea that's totally forced, and then they don't even realize the idea in a good fashion. I mean, it doesn't help for me to know that it's loneliness, but if you had just dumped these 3 pictures in front of me, I would say this is really shit. I mean, I don't know what you're trying to say here. This one looks like you've seen ads of people with striped shirts, and the ads were so bad, or the model was so ugly, that you decided to cover his face because he didn't want to be any part of the ad, okay? But aside from that, it doesn't have much to say, okay? This one is the only one of the 3, I think, that could talk about identity, all right? The shirt that the person's wearing looks to me like something someone could wear this shirt in the 50s. So it could come from a culture in the Middle East where, you know, the person doesn't have a lot of money and they bought this shirt, and with the wallpaper, it looks a little old-fashioned. So, and then when they wrap their head, since it reminds me of people who were in demonstrations in the Mideast, that they're wearing those things, but now he just covered his whole face because he doesn't want to be seen. He doesn't want to know that he's, the world to know that he's the one who threw the rocks, because there will be retribution. So from that standpoint, it's okay. But now going with these other pictures, I mean, that loses most of the credibility that I possibly could have given the photograph. I mean, you might show that to your uncle, and he'd say, wow, that's great, okay? But your uncle doesn't know shit about photography. I think the best advice for somebody like this is to try to figure out what you want to say and how you're going to say it. Oh, now here we go. If I send that bouquet to my wife, she'd throw me out. Wow. This is a type of photography I have a lot of trouble with, okay? It's not only artificial, I don't find any depth. You might say these pictures are kitsch, okay? They're kitsch, all right? I can like kitsch, but I don't like forced kitsch. You have the flowers here, you have all these, I don't know, phones, radios, bells, Christmas balls, tape, it looks like, alarm clock, magnifying glass, okay? I mean, there's a lot for the eye to look at, but this kind of picture wouldn't draw me in to look at it. The lady is not a photographer. And she's trying to go further than the capacity at this point that she has, okay? She's knowledgeable about kitsch, obviously, I can see that, all right? Much more knowledgeable than I'll ever want to be. But I think she's not there yet. But if it's done as an illustration for a book, totally credible. As an individual picture, I don't rate it. All right, we're done with this one?
Yeah, we're done with that.
Yes?
Yeah, there you go. Perfect.
Okay, anyway, I didn't know that this was part of his theory, so if I just look at the picture, I had a feeling that it's staged, which turns out to be correct, all right? I looked at this girl who's not a beautiful girl, quite plain, with looks like Nathan's cup in front of her, like really fast food in front of her, and she's eating a corn dog, which could have a real connotation here. When you're eating a corn dog on a stick, it almost gives a connotation of, well, can I say it? Oral sex. That she took a bite of the corn dog, and that could be somebody's you-know-what. It looks like she almost still has the food in her mouth. And she's contemplating, so I don't know what went wrong. It could talk about relationships between men and women. Then we have the second picture, or another young woman in distress. Obviously, I wouldn't know if it's staged completely or not, which I really don't care, but if it is staged, that means, well, she's really setting it up to make a statement. You're dealing with another young woman here who's not beautiful. And in our society, beauty really counts, especially if you're a woman. So, you know, you have to be thin. You have to be beautiful. This girl, like the first girl, isn't thin. And then she's sitting in an apartment with a wall that looks quite barren and empty. She's fixing her hair, but she's in a daze almost. So, and she's holding her stomach. Like, you know, just things aren't going well for her. Now, my favorite of the three pictures is this one. When I first looked at it, before I heard that all of these were staged, I had a feeling that it was staged, okay? What I like about this, it looks like they're looking into the boot of a car, the trunk. The two pictures that came previously don't allow the viewer to have any sense of mystery. You know, they are what they are, okay? It's a young girl who's not happy with her life, not happy how she looks, not happy with her choice of men. This one, it's more like it could be a still from a movie. They're looking at something in the trunk. What is it? You know, is it a dead body in there? Is it somebody tied up? Is it... There's something in there that's perplexing the two girls here, and it's apparent. And I like how she cropped the picture to put this into their face. So it gives it more of a candid quality. But I like this picture. I would... I find it much better than the other two. But now, if I may, when you put these as a whole, I think the girl is onto something. I think that she can have a very nice book of these pictures. She has something to say. When I looked at this alone, I wouldn't have said that. But look, like I've heard said, that anybody can take one good or great picture, okay? It's the body of work that counts. Now this girl has something inside her, and she wants to get it out. And a great catharsis, I always said that's what kept me alive, photography, because it did. It was my catharsis. If I didn't have photography, I probably wouldn't be sitting here now with you. And I like that she's chosen photography to express her innermost emotions and her feelings. And I think she's doing an okay job. It's okay. They're both okay. So I'm glad I came. Thank you, Vice.